Hey, welcome back to another Myrtle Beach market update for February numbers, which we're doing here already to the end of March, almost finished with the first quarter of 2026. And if you haven't already, make sure that you look at all the details that are in the actual newsletter. I go through more of the statistics and the actual numbers from the market. And in the video, I want to kind of just give you an overall summary of what we've seen in the last 30 days and what we're looking for going forward into the second quarter of 2026. So, in a nutshell, on the residential market, we've kind of stabilized and started seeing some really good signs in terms of the absorption. There's always going to be new listings that come on, and in springtime, that's typically that seasonality where you see some more listings coming on the market in February, March, April. But this year, we're absorbing that new inventory that's coming on. There's enough demand that we're not seeing big jumps in the overall months available and supply available. So that's a positive sign. Now, the other thing on the residential market that we've noticed in the last probably 60 days, since about the beginning of the year, is positioning within the market is critical, meaning there's enough data out there, enough sales, enough transactions where you can look and say, okay, here's the range that properties are being marketed in and that they're selling in. But what we're seeing is the homes that are at the higher end of the range, often they're taking longer to sell, but they're not getting more money. So sellers aren't being rewarded for more time on the market. It's just adding time to them getting an offer and being able to do whatever they want to do. Now, some sellers, their timing isn't that important. They're okay with 3, 4 months on the market. Other ones are, they're wanting to be able to make their next move, maybe missing out on opportunities in another market if they're moving away. So there's no reward right now for waiting longer. Prices aren't going up the longer you're on the market. What seems to be happening is the prices that are starting higher are over time, realizing kind of through trial and error that price isn't working. The buyers feel it might be a little bit high, and then they're adjusting down. Because if you notice in the report, the list to sale price is very strong. It's in the high 90s, which doesn't necessarily mean that buyers are just paying whatever 98% of the list price. It means that the properties that are priced outside of what the market values are just don't get offers. So believe it or not, in the last 30, 45 days on my team and within our office, we've had scenarios where we've had multiple offers. It's not a multiple offer market in general, but what happens, you've got a great property that's marketed aggressively to a wide audience of people that are looking for that. When it's priced correctly, you actually have multiple people that are interested in it, and it kind of creates that competitiveness. Now, it's not happening on every property. It's not 2021, 2022, but it just shows that buyers are well educated and they know when they see quality properties priced correctly, the demand is significant and it's early. Now, on the condo market, kind of run along the same lines we have been for the last few months. There's some positive signs, more buyers in the market, but that's primarily because when you look across most of the condo buildings, especially the short-term rentals, there has been a little bit of pullback in the overall prices. And so now, as sellers realize, all right, the buyers are still out there, but they're buying based on new parameters, their new valuations. Then if the sellers are in a position where they're able to match that market value, then they're the ones that are actually getting their properties under contract. And the ones that are still, again, trying to maybe get prices from 2 to 3 years ago, even though it's not been a crash of any sort, but prices have adjusted slightly when they're trying to get those higher prices. Again, longer time on the market. And the challenge with the short-term rentals and investment properties is there's two things that always factor into your net. It's your carrying costs. You're not living there, so carrying costs can add up. And also it's the opportunity cost. A lot of people that have owned in this market for a while have got a significant amount of equity that was all built from 2020 through 2023. Significant amount of equity. And there's opportunity cost of not being able to access that equity when it takes months to sell the property. So at the end of the day, it all depends on what the individual seller's motivation is and the strategy that they choose. But like every market, the only thing that really matters or that matters the most is the marketing that's done to get it in front of the right audience when you decide to sell. So going forward in the next 30, 60 days, what we're looking for is it's going to be interesting to see how does the normal spring inventory build up? How does that play out over the next 60 days? And also, are we going to see some impact from boy, there's parts of the country, our feeder markets just had really, really rough winters. And I talked to at least a couple of people a week who are looking at making the move. Well, what has you thinking about coming down to the Myrtle Beach market? I got to get out of this weather. I've got to, this record snowfall and cold temperatures, they're just itching to get down here. So that's exciting. It's a great place to be, and we're really trying to capitalize on those buyers and get them down here to buy some of these properties that we're working on. So if you need anything specific to your community, your short-term rental, your building, your area, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put a custom report together for you, no obligation, that you can see specifically what's happening in your neighborhood or in your building to help make sense of the likely value range and whether it's the right move for you to consider selling in 2026. So thank you so much for always watching these videos and allowing me to be your real estate resource here. And if, again, I can do anything for you, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll talk to you soon.